Welcome to Tattooing Out Loud, the podcast that's going to be based around the community that surrounds this shop. Whether it's a one-on-one with us artists or a sit-down conversation with our clients, I guarantee you everybody will have an interesting story to tell. So let me introduce you to Joey. At the time he first got tattooed, he was also a part of the police department. So it brought an interesting blend into the shop where he may have been the first officer I knew with a full sleeve that I completed, which I think is going to be interesting to hear that time frame. I feel like we match each other's energy, so bear with us that we do bounce around a lot with our topics.
Apparently there's like 6 flavors in the first episode. I know, right? Let's get this going.
Do you remember what was the first time you came in here?
Man,
Do you remember that? I could tell you stories.
it's gotta be, let's see, one of the first ones was probably when we did the whole like eagle and serpent thing.
Yeah, I have a picture of that.
That
too.
was
I have a picture of that when, so the tattoo shop layout was different. We had the walls, and then
That was, well, I mean, it had to be 2018, maybe 19,
2018.
something like that.
That makes sense.
At least.
I opened the shop at, I think it was 2015. Around 2015. So I think you came in. How did you come in? Didn't you just like? So wait.
I don't even.
How did this happen?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Sometimes I ask people, how'd you find my work, or weren't you just like patrolling? Because tell everybody what you do.
No, I was a cop for about, like 13 years. Started when I was 23. Now I'm like 38 now.
Yeah.
It's like looking back, it's crazy.
So he brought evidence files with him today for us to discuss.
I know,
and,
right?
So I think at that time, that's when you might have just came in with maybe like was it night crew, day crew, whoever you were at the time. You might probably just came in and you're like, you were probably curious, right, about this tattoo shop? Because a lot of people
I was like, who in the hell is this?
Yeah,
you know?
you just mentioned that. You just said, you know, open a shop here in this area. But a lot of people were curious.
Yeah, because you never know, like, because it's no secret, this is a small community and small town, so is this like a gangster over here that's opening a tattoo shop?
That was everybody's concern. Like, I want to open a tattoo shop in a small town that hasn't had one since like 96.
I was wondering about that. They probably questioned,
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they go into your background or like what did they want?
I don't know,
like,
but
how'd
I
they even...
did bring like, I remember I brought, I don't know, do you remember Marco? Big Marco? He was, okay, so I took him in there with me and also Nick. Remember Nick?
Yeah, of course.
I took them two with me to the meeting. Marco was shirtless, dude.
Are you serious?
Yeah, imagine this city council meeting.
So professional.
Dude, yeah, I know. I can't believe, I kind of forgot about that. So this is pretty good.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, man, I kind of forgot about that. So Marco, the city council meeting, big old dude, right? And we're sitting outside. He had a button-up plaid Pendleton. Yeah. So yeah, he was outside of the.
Could be Pendleton.
It was Pendleton. He was outside. We were like, kind of not plotting, but we were just getting our action plan down. And Nick was like, "Well, what do I say?" I'm like, you don't have to say anything. We're just gonna go in there, and I just want to kind of clear the air about this tattoo shop subject. And Marco, so just think about like that ripped tearaway clothes.
Yeah. Might as well have been a pearl snap on, just like
he had like the snaps, And so imagine that in a city council meeting, because you've seen some of the meetings, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
And we were waiting our turn to just bring up the subject to open a shop, or I guess to present my like, can I get permission kind of thing, And Marco, I was like, I cued him and I'm like, all right, Marco. So he started taking off his shirt in the middle of the meeting. And big old dude took
what
his
were
shirt.
You thinking when he did that?
Oh, man. It's definitely, you could tell it changed the mood around the...
Were you expecting that? Like, did you know he was going to do that?
I mean, I took him to showcase his back piece. We put like 27 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see, that was the reason. Because you asked, like, what did you... Background? I'm just going to take these guys in there and... Look at my art, Check out this is the tattoos I've done. Just a very serious surrounding. And it was interesting to feel the change of energy in the city council meeting when you have a shirtless dude in there showing off his tattoos. Shop plans for my other shop that I've opened previously. And so that I could present that and be like, look, this is my plan of action. This is my business plan.
Yeah.
But then, there was a panel of, I don't know, it was like 6 people, 7 people, I forget. And they, down the line, were just kind of
just hearing me out and then looking at the tattoos. And I think people are there for like other reasons, like, hey, fix this pothole in the road. And I'm there like, well, look at these naked men. Like, look at my art. Right. You know?
Yeah.
So imagine like everybody's like, you know, just staring or whatever. But cool. And it just helped a little bit to get the yes down the line.
Yeah.
But then I you know, I kind of reversed it on them and I said, well, what are your guys' concerns? And the only thing they said was, what are your hours of operation? And you're going to put me next to a bar. You can't expect me to close at 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I'm obviously not going to take advantage of that. Like, I'm not going to be here till 3 in the morning every night or 2 closing time. Because, I mean, what are the chances? Because at night shift, you used to do the checks, right?
Yeah.
And once in a while, I'd still be here, or you'd come in early, like 10-ish, and then you'd pop in and be like, hey, what's up? You know, you guys would all come in. And then everybody got kind of, because at the time, nobody knew I was tattooing the department.
Right.
And so
Seriously.
So if I had somebody in here and they're just kind of like, why did all of this PD just rolled up in here?
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
That's me.
I think I was probably one of the first cops that like ended up sleeved out, you know, because it was like, what was it, like a matter of 2 weeks? I go from like maybe 1 or 2 tattoos, and next thing you know, a couple weeks later, I have like a full sleeve. You know?
That's hilarious.
Courtesy of Omar over here.
Yeah, so you started coming in here and some of the other officers, but
it just spread that way.
Yeah, it was cool because I definitely think about it, man. I'm trying to open a business, like you said, in a small town that I guess not expected.
Yeah.
And again, I found a building, and that's the reason why I opened the shop. I wasn't even trying to like, I just needed a place to work that wasn't a garage or a house.
Right.
And do things legit, to do things like, you know. So then I found the spot, it was vacant, and I said, I'm going to go for it. What's it going to take? I went through the steps, you know, did everything from A to Z, jumped through all kinds of hoops, and so I obviously knew that I was going to have to make my presence and let myself be known to everybody, like whether it's department, because I just didn't want to get, I don't know if you want to call it, you have that mindset of being prepared of everything if you're going to get picked on by either the city or the fire department, because it's like, oh, this is not fire compliant. You know, what tattoos did you have already? You had some.
I have a grenade right here, and then this like military medical symbol.
Yeah.
And I think those are the only 2 I really had. And then the rest, because like the rest is you.
You came in with that. I think I asked you, I was like, well, what tattoos do you have? And I started seeing the older work that you had.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about your next idea, and that's when we started going with the quotes and.
Yeah, I think because those 2 pieces started out on my left arm, and then I really didn't have like a direction I wanted to go with it. It was just a lot of like patriotism kind of thing, just like it was almost kind of developing into this like mantra of just who I am on my left side as far as being patriotic. And then military, I was in the Army National Guard. They considered a healthcare specialist. But
sewing banana peels together?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
No, well, I know how to suture, but
I remember you sent me a random video. This is what I do when I'm bored. And it was a banana peel you sewed like...
Yeah.
You stitched it together.
Well, that's so one of the ways to practice. Oh, I didn't have like a pig's foot or some shit.
So,
like
okay.
You need this is the closest thing that you can get to like, well, a banana peel's not good for it, but it worked. That was the first thing, was the banana.
Dude, oh my God.
Just because the thickness of this.
It was like a selfie. You're holding the banana. It was all stitched up. And I'm like,
looking back, like,
sick.
Really, what is this?
This guy can put together banana peels. I don't know. That's something like... Have you ever, like, I guess like one of those
never
things...
remember taking a selfie with it.
Yes,
I'm sure I did.
You really did.
That was like my selfie era, bro. Right
that was, oh, dude, that was so funny. I remember that. And so
still not over.
Yeah.
In the Army, they call it a healthcare specialist, but it's really you're a medic. And my first couple of years, I was attached to an artillery unit, which was kind of cool. I mean, most of the time, like they'd go out to a certain area, and then they would just be practicing firing the howitzers and stuff like that. But I did that for 3 years, but that unit was up in Richmond.
Oh, that's right.
So it was kind of an Oakland suburb, so I was kind of tired of driving back and forth, 3 hours every weekend kind of thing. So then I ended up moving from that unit to one that's closer here, and that's an infantry unit. So I went from being like basically I don't want to say like a spoiled, like lazy medic to an infantry unit medic, which is different because they like fucking break you off in the military, in the infantry side.
Yeah. That's interesting. I got a buddy out in North Carolina now that he was a combat medic.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, I should have asked him if he ever sewed a banana peel. But do you ever have homies that are like...
Well, usually they have these like...
So is it like we're not a workstation, but...
It's like a little, like, what do they call it? Like moulage kind of thing where it's like a fake...
It's like our tattoo skin? Like our fake skin? Yeah,
basically. No, like it's that kind of like almost like ballistic type of... I don't know what I did during that situation.
This is our tattoo skin.
Yeah, I see that.
Pound of Flesh. Shout out to Pound of Flesh. But this is our banana peel.
Can you cut this though? That's the whole. This is what it would feel like. The synthetic skin.
A blend of.
But it's just solid, right?
Yeah.
The whole reason the banana came about was because
if you just tune in and you see you're holding a hand. Yeah. If you just start watching and you're like,
just gonna hold on to the hand.
You just dude, it's like a safety blanket.
It is.
You know, you don't need a relationship, Joey.
I know, right?
You just need a pound of flesh. You just need a pound of flesh, dude. All right, leave that there. Leave my hand alone. The way people ask me, have you ever tattooed yourself? Of course I've tattooed myself. During my trial era, man, I got no one to tattoo. I'm still learning or whatever. And I got my leg and I'm going to learn something. Did you have somebody you can practice?
It was us.
The IVs, like that. Yeah. Did you do any of that with stitching each other up? Like, hey.
No, not that in depth. You really had to, kind of thing. But as far as practice,
let's just inflict a wound. And now let's bandage you up. I guess you can't really do that.
Well, they do. It depends. Like when you're gearing up to deploy and stuff like that, they have places like that aren't really spoken of.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And you do go to those things.
A password and
no, it's like you have
knock twice and
you sign like a non-disclosure kind of thing.
You have to do like Mission Impossible, it's like.
So you do get real world practice in a sense. That's if you're gonna like go to the Middle East or whatever and deploy. But like just general out of the box training. When you first enlist, you go through basic training, and then that's like 10 weeks in the Army, and then you go from basic training to your specialty school. Missouri, I went to San Antonio, Texas. That's where they do all the medical training, right? So that's Fort Sam Houston. So I was there another 4.5 months. But during that time, the way it works is the first 6 weeks you're doing your EMT stuff, which is like the national accreditation, like what you see on an ambulance out here. They're all EMTs, right?
Yeah.
So once you get through that and you get nationally certified, then you go into the Army medicine side of it, which is, they call it the whiskey phase or the whiskey school. And that's when you start doing like all the, trauma medicine, combat medicine and stuff like that. And I mean, I think it was like the first week of that side of the training, we were just sticking each other with IVs all like 15 times a day, dude. I shit you not. Like you end up being a freaking pin cushion for everybody.
Oh man.
You have like valves in your veins and stuff that are open and closed. It's like a one-way valve, right? Because your blood pushes out from the heart towards all the way to your fingertips, right? So you have all these little valves. And when you're given an IV, it's like you can push it through the valve, right?
Sure.
Which that you feel. So if you've ever gotten an IV and you're like, ow, that shit hurts, that's them floating a needle through a freaking valve,
Tattoos all day. I don't know about the stick and poke of needle.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing, It's like, fast forward, it's like I can handle the IV part, but now it's like, go get a tattoo and I need this freaking cream to like numb everything.
If you could see, Joey at the moment has his arm saran wrapped.
Oh yeah, I do.
So I was contemplating when we should record this. So I'm going to get people of the community, of the shop community, my A1 since day one clients. And if you're a new client, it doesn't matter. You have a story to tell. You have something cool. This is how it's like. If I tattoo Joey, we sit down and our conversations go. And it doesn't help that we have 300 milligrams of caffeine before we start. But,
plus whatever we
it's 240 milligrams. This is going to write itself.
Yes.
This thing's going to, so we might just have a whole day podcast.
Right.
There's a lot of interesting things that you come across in this life, that stories I could tell you, whether it's on the road and shop, thinking, should we do a record session before when we're fresh and we're like the top of, I haven't seen you since our last session.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a little bit more organic and more, I think it would flow easier for me to just sit you down and be like, hey, let's sit, let's just talk, this is like us catching up. Yeah. But that was your MO at one point. You had a ruck and
Oh yeah,
like PT.
The rucking thing is like, I still think that's one of the best like forms of just getting in shape.
That's crazy. My buddy's doing that right now. He has a huge community, and I guess like the military aspect of the fitness. He's doing he's trying to get guys together for like ruck challenges. Some guys don't care to take it beyond that because it's like I have to get up and do it anyways. Why would I want to do this for fun?
Exactly.
I guess that's when I want to kind of touch up on the subject of what you're doing currently, because now from your left to your right side of your arm, all these tattoos have this whole different concept.
Yeah, that's true, because I was still in the military on my left arm, and I have more of my dad bod era. You know? So
Dad
I'm like,
bod era.
I'm not trying to I was like, who am I going to show a chest piece to? So like I'm going to the beach and ripping my shirt off.
Okay, so let's get a dad bod tat. You want to get, what would be
right?
a dad bod tat? We have to look that up. We have to start.
I don't even know, man. It's like
dad bod. Or not even that, just like where you are at this point, I guess now from the military.
You could do the cop thing, do like a pig holding a beer can.
Oh, man, you said it, not me.
Hey, I don't. That's what it comes down to.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about the acronyms on that.
There you go.
But so now this side is all the things you're doing now, this outdoor thing with.
I like to spend a lot of time outdoors, you know.
You always did though, right?
Yeah, I always
point.
did.
Yeah.
I just grew up on a farm, you know, so I was a farm boy, so the outdoors was kind of like second nature to me. We live in a small community. It's like
a lot of agriculture out here and a lot of
Latino heritage and or redneckery, basically. So, you know, it's like either outdoor like mud bogging or like just 4-wheel drives, ATVs, dirt bikes, stuff like that.
So what Joey means is you don't have to be a redneck to like mud bogging.
Well, true.
I could like mud bogging, and I don't know if I would just say I'm a mix too, because I'm not just Latino.
I think it's more geographic.
And we have that in between gray area that is like kind of city, town, but then kind of mountain folk. And I love them all, man. They come in here and get tattooed, but you could tell they're ready to go back to the hills where they're comfortable.
Oh yeah, they
that peace, the quiet, the away from the noise, which I commend them for that. That's awesome. You know, I can. You know,
did they try to bring their shotgun and put it in the corner of the
room? Dude, I have a gun rack because of them.
Yeah, I believe it.
But so there's that in between, and then we have our sweet sequoias, Kings Canyon National Park, and all that good stuff. The last session you told me about this, that you just got a Ranger boat, and you're really into the fishing, which that's dope. Did you after our last session? How many times have you gone fishing?
Since the last session, I think I've only been out like twice since then, but I broke a piece on my trolling motor, so I had.
Wait, already?
Well, yeah, I don't know if it was just like brittle, like plastic or something, but
that guy sold it to you with duct tape.
No, I put like a live scope sonar, like the technology is ridiculous on it.
I got you.
The way the wire is on it in the front,
it
got like bound up, and I was like trying to turn it. And I didn't realize it was still moving, and it just snapped. Caught
some. Is it debris in the? It's bad out there, dude. I remember going fishing out there. I just got caught twigs, because I can't get further out where you are in a boat.
Well, that was part of the reason behind it.
After I cast, if I'm pulling it in, here comes all kinds of twigs and weeds. I'm like, great. It's not out of service, right?
No, I can still use it right now if I wanted to. I just I wanted to I'm like neurotic with certain things, so if I break something, like, oh, it's out of service, got to fix it before I go back out. So, but I could, if I get impatient, I can take it back out anytime.
I'm the same way though. That's why I think this is where we kind of relate, because you said you had some downtime, and then you got into like this, and then you got into this, and now you got into this, and it's like me. I just have a lot of interests like you do, and so I think that's why everyone's like, oh man, you do everything. You do the music thing, you do this, you do that. In our minds, it's our way of boredom, I guess, too. And it's and impatient of things where I can't just sit around and just wait for the next thing to arise. I have to now move on to the next something else, or I'm going to pick something else up. But the hiking, where did you hike?
Eastern Sierras, like high Sierras, like up here, like Sequoia National Park, Kings National Park.
When would you do that? When your mindset, as far as not just your day off, because there's a point where you didn't really work, where you're just kind of waiting around for the next thing. But you're also a father, so downtime when you didn't have your little one, pack up and go. Is that when you would? Or burnout is a real thing. Yeah. And you would say like you would feel like that burnout, right?
Yeah. And it would just be like week to week. Sometimes like I felt like I just needed to clear my mind and get the hell away, so that's what I did.
The therapeutic aspect.
Like I wouldn't even spend like an hour or two thinking about it. I would just
get up and go.
Yeah, well, half the time my truck was already packed with all the stuff that I needed. Longest time.
Because didn't you like camp out at some
Yeah.
like crazy?
Well, that was my thing. I don't want to call it a prepper or anything like that.
Prepper now.
We're not one of those.
I
kind
would
of people.
believe it if you told me one day you were like, yeah, hey, I got a bunker.
I will say this. Any given moment, I could be driving my truck somewhere and break down, and I would be cool for like a day or two.
That's good.
You know
Wait,
what I
you
mean?
have gear in your truck?
Yeah, like I have
cool.
like a tent that goes on the bed of my truck, and that's always under my back seat. Nobody really knows. And then I have this.
Isn't that where you keep like the jack?
Yeah.
So you don't care about a car
No,
jack.
Nah.
I need my survival. I don't even care about a flat tire.
Off-road tires and shit on it, so it's like the spare tire you can't
yeah.
even really put
That's
on there
true,
for
that's
that
true.
long. But that's still in there.
That's funny. So you have the gear.
Yeah, I have like
That's
a go
tight.
bag basically in there. It just depends. Like we'll just say I have things to protect myself, and then I also have enough to like stay outside. For
You have an Uzi?
No,
Let me find out.
Well,
Let me find out you have like an
We are in
AK-47.
California, so it's kind of hard to.
I have my 50 cal to
The only
protect
thing that-
myself in case any coyotes want to mess with me.
The only thing that's legal out here is a Gerber, like pocket knife. So
Oh,
that's all. You
that
can
and a
pretty much
Derringer
carry.
22.
Yeah, not even that, dude.
Where would you go?
Usually
Wasn't
a
it like
couple
Death?
days at a
Was it
time.
Death Valley?
Yeah, Joshua Tree.
Okay,
there you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
National Park. There's like a marine, like a military base out there.
Oh
too.
yeah, yep. I know what you're talking about now.
29
I know
Palms like
yeah.
area, like that way. I'm one of those people that if I'm gonna go outdoors,
I remember you
outdoors,
showed me. I forgot what tattoo we worked on, and you showed me these crazy camping trips that you're like, look,
Yeah.
man, this is.
I just want to be away from people. Like that's my whole
Yeah.
goal. Like when I go do outdoor stuff, it's like the
Well, just
further I can
unplug,
get- yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, unplug. Yeah, I get you.
The further away from people, the better authentic of an experience it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I look at it. It's like
But you're prepared for anything kind of.
I wouldn't
thing,
want to
too.
go. No shade against like Yosemite or anything like that because I love it and there's a lot of people that live where we live and they've never been there, you know, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider that like unless you're backpacking a few days at a time and you get away from all the tourists and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
It's hard.
I
dude.
wouldn't consider that like a really awe-inspiring experience.
Yeah, deserted, right? Desert.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
So the thing is that you're
Bro.
right, because I remember the times I would go out hiking. My wife and I went out on a hike. We would run into these people that were speaking this, they're like from Switzerland. You
Yeah.
could tell the dialect or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling her, like, man, these people are traveling to go to visit a place that's our backyard. Like, we need to take advantage of this.
exactly.
Burnout is a real thing, so we go to unplug, go out to hike. You know what was a nice thing that I started liking about hiking was the fact that you had no signal.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? Emergency
Right,
sense,
exactly.
but there's also like gear you can get if you want signal. You'd go out there, and it was nice not to have anything, just the distraction. And then I guess the therapeutic aspect, like we mentioned, of hiking, and then the things you see, and then that mindset, just clearing that noise.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that was pretty cool. Like, all of a sudden, everybody wants to be a hiker. You
Right.
know that time, but it was because like everybody has been stuck for X amount of time in their house.
Right.
Like
I
the
didn't
whole
even think
pandemic
about
thing, and
COVID and all that.
that's when I really
don't
wanted to
even-
get into it for sure. I'll be
Yeah.
one of those people, but it's because I always another thing was I always wanted to try it, and all these ideas were brewing in my head as far as I got to just go out there and try it. I understood why, and
Yeah.
it was like my own sense of, yeah, man, getting away and just unplugging from the noise and whatnot. And I was doing it a lot. My wife and I, because we did this like insane hike, 13 miles plus or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
she blew out her knee.
Oh, shoot.
It's not funny because it's
not funny.
but it sucks because we look back at certain videos, the scenic shots.
Yeah.
And she's walking, and I could tell my bag's gonna be heavier because I'm carrying
Yeah.
more stuff. And if you step wrong, dude, nowadays it'll take us out.
Oh, yeah, no.
If you step wrong out of your bed to the bathroom or just to get ready, and you step wrong, my knee gave out. So
I
that's
felt
what
like
happened.
when I hit 30. I suddenly became aware of like my body at that point.
A little late, right? It's
Well,
always
yeah,
like-
but only in the sense that you realize, wait, oh shit, my knee hurts, or like I have
Yeah.
a knee now. All of a sudden,
Have
but,
you ever had?
like,
Have
when
you,
you're
you
younger,
haven't
you
had
don't
knee
think about your
surgeries,
body, right?
any of that? Have you
No,
ever
I
like?
haven't had knee surgeries, but I've screwed up knees, back, all of it. So that's part of the reason why I didn't stay in the military. The only surgery I had my gallbladder taken out, but that was in 2015.
Gallbladder.
Yeah, that was.
And
a
then
whole
here we
different
are
experience.
drinking these rock stars.
Yeah, seriously. Like, caffeine is a thing, you know? It's
Yeah.
like the most addictive substance there is.
So I was trying not to pregame before you got here. I don't really drink coffee, so
I can imagine it would be good for like steadiness of your. That's a question, right?
Can I tattoo caffeinated? I usually at this time, I already had a can and a half of these. I say can and a half because I'll be at the gym and then I'll run with a full can.
Yeah.
And then I just have that like habit of I'm just wired like that now. I'll come to the shop and I just have to open another one. It's like my for no reason. So I need to break that, which I do better.
Right.
No, it's not that bad. But
how to sabotage your tattoo artist?
Yeah, right. You set yourself up for failure, my friend. I'm kidding.
That's more of a trust thing at that point.
I've never really found an effect of that. I just get hyper focused of doing whatever I have to do. And then sometimes it gets to the point where I can't even talk to the client because I'm just so into my job.
Right.
It's like asking the guy that sits behind the desk and just going to type. But it's more that mental focus, I think. Like, I don't just tattoo and start having, like, Tourette's or Parkinson's, you know?
You have ADHD. Stimulants, like caffeine, they actually work
the
levels
opposite. You out.
It almost is like the opposite.
Exactly.
So, like, for us, and I think this is true in the sense to where, like, I could drink this Rockstar, and I could go sleep for, like, I could go pass out 2 hours later.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get that, like, jitters a little bit, but it doesn't affect me in the sense of it's going to keep me up for a day at a time or anything like that.
I got to have a cutoff at a certain time of my day because then I do have to, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as, like, affecting my work or whatever, it's true. Like, the opposite effect, right? But with me, I just have to do stuff now. Right. Like, if I have tasks, I'll knock stuff out. But I do it in a weird, chaotic fashion where I'll work.
All over the place.
I am, dude. It's crazy. So I'll do this, I'll do that, and then I'll go sit down. I'm responding to people, and this might be common with a lot of artists, why it's hard for us to sit down, book. We sometimes have to dedicate a day to do that, or I have to then break apart my actual work day. Before we're starting, dude, I'm literally trying to respond to people and distractions, and then I get...
Never come back to that, like, or eventually later.
Keep it together for a day. That's that in my sense. What that means to me is we're gonna sit down. I book ahead. That another thing about the whole walk-in thing versus appointment. I like to have my appointments. I don't know how I did it back then, honestly, because then if I'm working on you, somebody comes in and I have to now stop and be like, hold on, man. Gloves off. Hey, how's it going?
That, like,
I'm sure that's happened because I would tattoo you on weekends sometimes, and that's a busy traffic time.
I'm pretty sure I remember.
We already have this pace on your art, and it kind of sucks for you because then you're probably thinking in your head, why is this guy stopping right now? Because I know if he starts back on my arm, it's gonna whatever. Like it's
honestly,
already.
I was probably relieved in the moment.
Thank God I got a break.
I know, right?
Yeah, going back to the whole hyper-focused thing. If now I have to completely stop. And by all means, I try to do the best I can to be at like the peak of customer service, whatever you want to call it. And I want to help everybody out that comes to the door. Now I have to go back, jump on your arm. And where was I? You know?
Well, that was going to be my thing is that I like to paint, and I can't imagine stepping away from whatever I'm focused on and trying to come back to it. What was I even thinking? Or what direction was I going with
it's hard, man.
Without like a template or something?
One day I set 4 hours of my day, X amount of days of the week to just sit, and I kid you not, it has to be silent, and it has to, because I need no distraction. My phone, if I'm only have my calendar and just checking the different platforms of messages, whether it's email, responses, Instagram, and Facebook, I like to know where everything's going as far as my time management. So my booking, my who I'm working on what day, and I like to see my calendar physically and be this day I have this person, tomorrow I got Joey, whatever, and then that to me is more controlled. Versus the chaotic form where walk-ins. Because now I just want to, I feel like it's a convention. Imagine I was doing those starting the beginning of like 2015, I started traveling in 2014. And I got my first taste of that convention life. But I kept up because my mind is like that already. I was already 100 miles an hour plus. And so I was like, I like this environment.
I look at your wall and it's like covered in all these like awards and stuff.
But that's, you know, like, I appreciate that. That's
all these places you've been, you know, it's like, damn, man.
But I have to give it up to my good traveling buddies. Shout out to Gunner. He was the one that kind of pushed me to compete. And, you know, it's argument about competitions at tattoo conventions. But you know what? It's one of those things that I participated. I sent my client up there, competed. Whether I won or lost, it was just dope to see my art on a stage. They try to do the whole like unbiased decision. Make sure the judge isn't part of the same shop with the person that just won.
I know, right?
Which at that point was cool because I didn't know anybody really. So I was like, whatever. If I win, it felt like the most, you know, authentic. The competition side though, it definitely, it challenged you to push it forward. I'm pushing the art, pushing the limits, your standards, raising the bar. You know, now I can't sit and go home. I can't sit and draw. You were just mentioning about painting. It's like torturing myself because now I have to finish that.
Yeah.
And if I can't, because life, you know, or whatever, if you just have a busy home environment, I'm trying to be more present. You're not going to see me and sit down and I'm going to paint flash or I'm going to paint canvas. Yeah. Right. And I can't do that anymore because I'm.
That's why I struggle with painting then.
Yeah. It has to be, I have to be present. I have to be there or else I leave it here. I lock the key and I just leave that mindset here. Obviously, if I'm working, I'll book at home, but I'm not going to sit there and just, all right, time to bust out some flash with your oil painting. So like Bob Ross style.
Pretty much, yeah.
Banana peel suturing, like you're just all over. That's our minds though, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm still
it's crazy
finding new stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know,
you did the hiking, you're still doing the hiking, you're still doing the outdoor.
Yeah.
This sleeve is now inspired to the outdoor theme, right? The stuff that you're going through right now.
Yeah. The left arm is more like who I am at my core, like the, you know, like law enforcement, military, like patriotic. The right arm is more shaping into the things that I love doing, you know, like outdoor stuff, like hiking stuff, fishing. That's kind of the direction we're going. Stargazing.
Yeah. Stargazing, yeah. Second Amendment, but I like looking at the stars.
Hey, you got to be
well-rounded kind of
exactly.
guy. That's cool. Hey, man, it's all good, dude. And then Bob Ross it up.
You know what I've learned from the military, especially all that like machismo mentality and stuff like that? Like, we're
put
all
on numb
at the end of the day, we're all.
It's not about the machismo.
The only difference between us and it's just you have a couple of kinds of people. The ones that like want to maintain this persona of their demeanor, just really badass, you know,
that demeanor,
and then the ones that are I don't really care, like whatever, judge me, who cares?
Yeah,
I don't care.
It's my.
I'm at the point like I do not give zero F's anymore.
No, that's cool. Yeah, we're just talking about that too. My personal thing is I want my client to be as comfortable as possible, so it's easier for both of us. If you need numbing cream, bro, if that's what you need to hold on to make you sleep better at night, lather yourself up.
Bring a freaking teddy bear.
Yeah. Bring your whatever you need, man. I do not provide it though. I have some special magical spray. It doesn't really work though. It's placebo. No, it doesn't. Much. Yeah, I could tell you it
just
is.
Spraying water.
It's just like, Bactine. Bactine does have some nowadays, like the Bactine Max. But I could have back in the day. I used to be like, yeah, this is numbing cream.
Placebo stuff works, man.
It does.
You can trick the brain. It'll do.
It's Jedi mind tricks, man. Yeah, it's like, yo, this is 8% lidocaine. It's working. It's just soap and water.
Pretty much.
No, I don't do that to all clients.
Just
they do. I have been asked, do you provide it? There's topical, the numbing cream, which you have to then. There's a procedure you need to follow if you're going to be using that. And my theory, and I don't know. There's a lot of arguments about that. About you're pushing it into the skin. You might have the reaction to it. It'll affect your tattoo healing or whatever the case.
Yeah.
And I've seen all different types of spectrums of the reactions of that. But I've also seen people that, for instance, I've had these encounters where they come in with the numbing cream already like this, and they still feel everything. Like I'd feel played because I just spent this money to get this, and it doesn't work. But I don't know. It's very common now. A lot of people more than likely have been asking about it, which, hey, like I said, to each their own. That was not around when I was getting tattooed. Probably not even your first tattoos.
No.
Certain areas I tattoo some clients, and everybody has a different pain threshold. You and I are going to have different. Mm-hmm. I can't test that now because I haven't got tattooed in a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't tell you how well I could sit now. I don't even want to find out because I don't care to get. I don't want to say I'm good, but I just don't have anything.
I feel like you get to at a certain point you have to be good, right? Like, I mean, unless you're
like your real estate is.
Unless you're like, what was like Kat Von D just
they're saying
now she's just black out everything.
That's crazy.
That's the next level, right? Like once you get tattoos everywhere, unless you're
lasering is a thing.
Unless you're recolor, well,
yeah,
F that, dude. I'm not
lasering hurts.
Nah, I'm not.
Lasering
sucks. We're good.
You want to burn your skin.
Yeah, at that point, just go ahead and put me under some like anesthesia altogether. Like
everybody has a different pain, the tolerance, their threshold. My stomach took about 6 hours, and I was like, I don't know, 19 or 20 when I got my stomach done.
Yeah,
my whole torso, dude, not just stomach. Like I went rib to rib, across. It felt like I was getting cut open alive.
Yeah.
Again, the machismo mentality was hitting me, and I think I was like that young buck, like.
Yeah,
I was just slamming rock stars, dude. I was trying to keep my heart rate up.
Over here sweating.
I'm surprised I'm alive. I definitely woke up with a fever.
Yeah.
I woke up sick. My body was just exhausted.
Constantly put under a state of
stress. For that long.
Yeah.
So imagine, all I did was get, back in the day when the big 40 ounces with the
Oh,
top,
yeah,
those were
yeah.
like, okay, that's what I was drinking when
Yeah.
when I tattooed my whole stomach. I was just, I kid you not, I had 2 of those.
Damn.
And I was just, in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to keep my heart rate up and my adrenaline going. I will not feel the pain. That was my mindset at the time. And
That's
it
crazy,
worked.
'cause in reality, like that adrenaline, it enhances all your senses, like increases sensitivity.
Yeah, I did not think about it.
No.
But then again, numbing cream wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't at all.
I mean, if you can get like yourself to a state of adrenaline, then you won't feel it. But
I think that's
only like a minute.
I got too comfortable.
Your body can't sustain.
I got too
anything
comfortable
longer.
with the whole. I'm just gonna slam rock stars every time I got tattooed.
Right. Well, I remember like some of my first tattoos. Like I would like do these like 6-8 hour sessions. How the hell did I do that? For us, it was probably like the whole eagle serpent.
Yeah. Well, how long did that take? I don't remember. Was that?
Well, I know we did the whole sleeve in a matter of 2 weeks, so I think the first session was like
That's right. We just went back to back. Yeah,
Seriously.
that's crazy.
Kind of like how this thing's shaping up over here.
Yeah.
Like break your mic, but
No, that's fine. It's just a pod mic.
I have a couple of pieces on my calves on the outside, and those were like 6-8 hour. Like I just went into, I didn't know those artists, so I wasn't gonna come back a second time, kind of thing. It's like I wanted to get it done, one shot, and that was it. So I think those were like 6 to 8 hour sessions. But
Did you back then? Was that a walk-in thing?
Yeah.
You just walked in, or you actually made appointments?
I made appointments.
Okay.
I've always made appointments. I've never just like if I was gonna do a walk-in,
you mentioned spontaneous.
Check their shop out.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what you did here,
how
right?
sketchy is this place?
Yeah, let's see how sketchy the Sanger shop is.
Exactly.
You walk in, there's just a bunch of like cholos in the front, like, hey, what's up?
All right.
What do you want, foo? What are we gonna tattoo today? Let's talk about the ideas you shot to me, because I have this stuff. That's another thing why I wanted to kind of do this beforehand, because I don't know your state of mind after this tattoo session.
Who knows?
I don't know if I'm gonna sit you down to talk. You're just be like, bro, I just want to go home.
I know, right? Well, I wasn't sure like what was gonna happen. Like, I
No,
think
it's all good.
There's pros and cons, like no matter like how you look at it. Because since we brought up the numbing cream, obviously it's no secret that
obviously
I have numbing
it's
cream.
in effect right now.
So it's in effect right now, and by the time we start doing the tattoo,
it's already worn off.
So
you might want to go to the bathroom and apply that real quick. Let's do it.
I ran out of it after this like one shot, bro. So we're just gonna have to deal with it today.
There's a guy down the street. I might know that. Might be underground. That stuff from Mexico.
Hey, I would. If it works, I don't even care.
If it works, it works. Just see you next time with an amputated arm. What happened? It didn't work.
Yeah,
so
I can't feel my arm or leg at this point.
You sent me the idea. I have it, the concept.
Yes.
But then again, we obviously have to blend in what we've already started.
On my forearm, I have this like mountain scene, and a couple mountain scenes now.
It's crazy because this was a whole different, like that was a whole different time of your life, like that, like your left arm.
Yeah.
Your right shoulder, whole different, because you already had that skull, right? Or did we start that?
I had it. We did it once.
Because think about it. Now the forearm to the top is a whole different theme, right?
And I've done it in a reverse order too.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I came in with my lower forearm tattooed, and then we went up instead of like most people start up at the top and like get a half sleeve or whatever.
But not us.
And then come.
Yeah, you should do henna around your fingers.
Southeast Asian type of like.
But we're going into like that.
Is it almost like a more realistic?
It's outdoor landscape, scenic tattoos. Honestly, when I do those, it feels like I'm painting in a sense because you're doing certain techniques that you would with a brush.
Yeah.
And then to get certain details, it's all like little tricks here and there. It's all with, again, like blending it together. That's what's it's consists of that to get a nice flow, make it custom. But that way it's not such an eyesore transition. It's going to continue from the softness of that.
Yeah.
And then go into like a whole new piece with the stargazing. It just sucks because obviously the shading up top is going to be a ton of shading to get that night sky look. It's not going to be black, but it's going to be a lot of coverage.
Yeah.
So let's hope that numbing cream holds through.
It's not.
It's probably gone.
I already
it's
know
probably
it's not
gone,
gonna happen.
but we'll see, man.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll get as far as we can.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's wrap things up. Let's get to it. Thanks, Joey, for
no problem.
being part of the community of the Tattoo Shop for one. A little bit after this, we'll kind of go ahead and see the turnout of the tattoo and kind of get some shots around it because we do have the inside that we were also worked on, and so we're going to get it all kind of blended together. And I think, honestly, we're just going to have that very top. Have you decided? Are we going to go up to the inner arm, or are you just going to kind of Do you want to eventually go up? Because this other side we went up, right? Is it up?
Yeah.
On the inner arm on the left?
Yeah. No, we did the whole
the flag
like,
thing, right? So then, kind of thing. So on this side, are we going to do that again?
On the inside, I still like the idea of doing like the whole antler frame.
No,
like
definitely. I feel like something framing it up would be pretty cool.
I think that would look cool in there. And I mean, and you can almost do the shading somewhere.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna definitely cover from the back side of the arm. Way, going forward, and it's gonna have that because our arm tapers. Yeah. So I want to leave it where it doesn't look so. It's just one of those things. There's gonna be a lot of coverage, you know. Yeah. So we just have to.
I was kind of thinking about it when I was
figure that out.
I was like, what could we? I feel like the shading.
Yeah. You think it, I ink it, man. That's what it's gonna be.
How quick of a process is that? Because I know with the shading, I would remember like. You're just kind of mixing blood and ink, basically. It's like that's how I look at it.
Swishing it around.
Yeah, and that from a person getting tattoos perspective, that's what it looks like.
You should put some more ink in that, buddy.
I was like, that's a lot of blood right in there. It's just like basically watercolor.
It's watercoloring.
It's what it seems like, you know. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that shading. Those shading needles, I was like that. We could color a lot of that space.
Oh, if you ever tell me you should put some more black in that, I'm gonna give you the stuff myself. Be like, you do it. Right? You do my job. No, it'll be dope. If you excuse us, we're gonna get to our tattoo session here. Sweet. Thanks again for tuning in for Tattooing Out Loud here at Queen's Gold Tattoo Parlor, Sanger, California. And with that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.